I ordered Chinese takeout last night and was reminded why I never order Chinese takeout.
You live and you learn. I killed a big ass bug with a hard exoskeleton. It crunched in my hand. I am traumatized for life.
Ooh, gross. I like chirping birds. I really do. Birds are great, but do they have to squawk into my bedroom window at 4 a.m.? Why are they up?
The guy who has always only asked me for favors is still doing it after 10 years.
Great friend. Have such a good day. Hello and welcome to Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to do just that.
What's up, everybody?
What's up? What's up?
How you doing?
Remember the Super Friends?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What's up? I don't even really know why that was funny.
I think it's funny because it was like tons of Z's, you know? It's just like fun to say. It's like fun. It rolls off the tongue.
And it was sort of one of the first internet memes.
Mm-hmm.
I can think
definitely.
of, you know, where it's passed around and everyone's like, that's funny, right? Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, man, I still look up some of the old memes. Like, do you remember the race car that was like a still image of a race car, and it was basically had an audio track of it going bing, 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 bing. It was like it basically driving really fast. No, this was like a Martin Sargent thing. No, we did it on this show, like the late night show with Martin Sargent.
Unscrewed.
Unscrewed. And there was another one where it was like, do you remember the Badgers? Badger, 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 snake.
Yes.
Mushroom.
Oh,
I looked it up the other day because it was like
about that.
I was so into that back in the day. It was so fun.
I
love those old memes.
Man,
we're old.
Right. Well, we could go down the meme path all day long, but that's a story for another show.
Welcome to Have Such a Good Day.
Yeah. If you're like, what the hell is this show about? Well, it's not really about
all
memes.
The things.
It is. Sometimes it's about memes.
It is.
Heather and I,
internet culture. Your
friends. Heather and Sarah unpack the absurdities of everyday life for your entertainment. Hopefully you're entertained by it.
Hopefully you're laughing.
Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry.
Have a good time. This is true, but the crying is usually, it's not like super sad. It's more like ironic crying.
Yeah, we're crying together.
Yeah, it's like almost like it's having
bonding.
An existential crisis, and it's making us cry. But in a way, we're happy at the same time.
Unlike an exoskeleton.
I know.
Oh,
I really am scarred for life. I mean, It was funny because
the last time I killed a spider, which was not recently, thank God, my apartment does not have anything in it.
Lucky you.
Yes, I've been very lucky, but the last time I did, and I don't like to kill anything ever.
I don't
sometimes it happens, and there was a crunch. I mean, I had to take a shower. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to shower in bleach.
Well, this guy doesn't have screens on any windows or doors. Therefore, I have tons of bugs. And when I saw this guy flying, it wasn't a cockroach. It might have been a small cockroach, but I don't think it was, because it was like a brown kind of like, tough shell. But I saw it flying, and I thought it was a moth. And then it landed, and the cats went crazy on it.
Yeah,
and I thought that they killed it. And then I get in bed, and I hear it hitting the wall. And it's like really loud. I'm like, what the hell is that? Is that a small bird? And it was, I had to do something about it. And I don't like killing insects. I really don't. But that, I'm like not going to have that flying around my face when I'm sleeping. Talk about giving me nightmares. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's the crunch.
Ugh, it is the crunch.
Because it's like partly, I've murdered something.
Like an animal.
Even though like murder is murder. But you feel the bones.
Yeah, it's not a fun experience.
Not a fun experience, but you know what is?
What?
The rest of our show.
Oh yes, we've got some fun stuff in store for you.
We sure do. In fact, Heather, for all of our $5 and up patrons,
lucky guys
who get the bonus topic, what are we doing this week? It's a little bit different.
We're switching it up a little bit. I thought, I don't know, let's try some new stuff. So I came up with a couple game ideas. I didn't make the games up myself. I mean, these are games we've all played throughout life. Okay. You've probably heard of this one. But this was actually the popular vote on a poll that I put on Patreon. Okay. And if you're not contributing to those, they're super fun. So please check those out. Usually I do at least one a week. So this is Would You Rather. It's basically, when someone poses a couple scenarios and they're like really revolting or dreadful or painful scenarios.
Right, yeah.
And the
Death
person
is not an option.
Exactly.
You
but
have
you
to
have
choose
to
one.
choose.
Yeah.
You can't not choose.
Sometimes this is a sexual
It
game.
can be. It can be.
Would you rather two people that you don't want to be intimate
We
with?
used to do that all the time.
But you have to choose one.
Oh man.
But in our case, we're gonna keep it cleaner.
Yeah. And
But we've
we'll dirty it up later down the road.
Let's see what happens.
We'll
You never know what happens in our bonus topic of the show.
So you guys can hold out for that. It's going to be a good one.
Think about your would you rathers. In the meantime, Heather and I we've compiled some of our notes as well. But first, let's get to the regular part of the show.
I want to know how your week has been, Sarah. I'm like really at the edge of my seat.
Are you really?
As you always.
Yeah. Well,
even though I talk to you every day.
Had a sick dog, had to take a day off work, had a lot of other work to do. It was just, it wasn't Sarah's finest week.
Mm-hmm. But you had a good weekend.
I had a good weekend with you, actually, last weekend. And it's funny because we talked about the fact that I was like, Heather, I've got the new Verizon plan for you. And you were like, yay, great. And we went to Verizon because there happens to be a Verizon retail outlet.
After brunch and in between a late afternoon Bloody Mary, might add.
True story. We're like, let's do this. Let's get it over with. It's going to be fun. We'll be together. An hour plus later.
Yeah, from being like a half hour or hour and a half probably.
It was definitely an hour.
Yeah, it was.
And maybe more.
Yeah.
And let's set the scene for everybody because as we've discussed, and as you know, the carrier retail stores are often just strange. So we walk in, two guys working there. We're the only customers in there. One guy is just like watching videos on his phone, like not even paying attention to us.
Not even
like,
working, really.
Not working, which is, I don't know what he would do. It's whatever. It wasn't busy. Other guy, nice enough, but very sort of like, kind of had that like 1,000-yard stare.
Definitely.
Like, don't want to be here. Don't want to help you. Heather's got some weird phone thing that's going on.
As
which
usual.
she did.
I warned you.
You did, and it was fine because we were together, whatever, and we were having fun. And I'm like walking around the store, being like, "Why is this Android phone like under the iPhone sign?" And they were like, "Oh,
she was keeping them on their toes for sure."
Right, but yes, after many sort of phone calls to the mothership and just weird
and
stuff,
fraud companies,
fraud stuff
What's going on here?
Like Heather has been flagged for fraud. No one knows why. No one could explain that to us. Finally, after an hour, we were like, we have to leave.
Like this is
and
crazy
like,
to
and
say
like
here.
you weren't like your situation was not handled.
Nope.
And
I'm still an AT&T
and
person,
I find the whole
unfortunately.
thing amusing just because because none of it makes any sense.
It makes no sense. And it's so typical. I feel like this is why I dread things like this because I'm so worried it's not going to go smoothly.
Right.
And it's funny because when we walked in there was nobody in there. It was actually kind of a nice Verizon store. Like it was nice kind of high ceilings and it was nice that you were
you're
there.
in a good one when their ceilings are high.
Like I was feeling good about this.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to be.
Well, we were ready to tackle something.
We really were.
That you had been
my
like dragging
to-do
your
list.
feet on.
Yeah, to-do list. It was very disappointing. But this has happened to me before, where there's like a snag, and then I'm just like, you throw your arms up, and I'm like, I'm never going to resolve this. I'm going to be an AT&T person for the rest of my life because I just don't want to deal with it.
Well, in all fairness, I'm somewhat well versed in how this stuff all happens. Heather's issue was very weird. The Verizon guys were like, no one's ever had this problem before
in the
history of us working here. And we were like, how much longer is it going to take? Because we're like kind of hungry now. And like we had like plans. Yeah. And after a SIM card was like associated with your account, even though your
after the
phone
fraud
was unlocked and the fraud and the whole thing, we were like, we gotta go.
Like seriously, got beeline for some Bloody Marys, and that's what we did.
And we did.
We traversed the traffic. We actually didn't use the crosswalk, and we
correct.
That was super fun. It was it's funny. I like first of all, thank you. You're a good friend for going with me.
Anytime.
You're a total trooper. And I was like
Anytime.
very impressed that you wanted to do that with me. So thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Of course.
I'm going to drag you next weekend and we're going to go back again. And
I'll do it. Now I'm curious. I'm like, how do we solve this?
yeah, no, it is kind of a fun sort of, because I'm such a problem solver. Like if I can't solve it myself, it makes me crazy. I'm like, then I'll ask you. In fact, sometimes when I have tech issues, I was going to hit you up the other day when my computer camera wasn't working. I ended up calling Apple. I didn't want to bug you with it, but like I usually can troubleshoot. I just Google. Usually there's a step-by-step thing. Tried everything.
There's usually a solution online. Yes.
I hate when I can't solve the problems. It bugs me and it doesn't make sense. It's like, anyway, well, it's funny. So this is sort of, I guess, along the similar lines of like, I don't know, problem solving, organizing, that kind of thing. But I'm sure you can relate to this, and most ladies out there can. I guarantee it. Have you ever been on a kind of a group weekend or a group trip? Maybe it's a bachelorette party or whatever, and it involves 15 girls, 15 ladies, and it starts with a big thread, email thread that is. And there's, it's funny because I have a lot of good friends. I have a lot of good, close relationships with women. Most of them are like solo relationships. It's like, that person is a really good friend and I'll go sit at a bar with them or go have dinner with just that one person.
Yeah.
When it comes to group stuff, and I'm great with that. Like I'll totally like be very focused in the moment with that person. And even if there's 2 people, I'm good too. But when it comes to organizing with that many people, I get lost in the shuffle. I get almost like anxious about it. Like I'm on a bunch of these, group chats. I feel like I have a harder time kind of edging my way in there and being part of the conversation, and as opposed to I can go back and forth with someone all day long, no big deal,
right?
And I have lots of little, chats with all kinds of people. But it's funny, you got a spreadsheet. I'm not kidding you. There's a massive spreadsheet, people's food preferences, people's milk preferences, tea, coffee, gluten-free, whether you're a meat eater or not. And there's columns and
the thing is like, it's easy to be like, ugh, eye rolly, but like this is what people like. This is your life.
It's
like
totally,
it's like it's just the way that it's the life we live in now.
It is, and it's interesting to see because it's like we're producers, and I'm used to doing that kind of organization for like a shoot or a project. This is like the same thing for not an actual like film shoot. It's for like entertainment. And I just think it's funny. It's funny though, like, and then there's like the Venmo thing, you got to pay someone, and there's like, all these dynamics of like sleeping arrangements, and someone's got to sleep on the couch. And anyway, I'm going this weekend to Palm Springs on one of these big group trips. I think it's gonna be super fun. I'm excited to see these girls.
It'll be great.
A lot of them listen to the show, so shout out to the chat. Oh,
shout out to the chat. Oh,
it's called Chat Olympics.
Yeah. It sounds lovely.
It'll be great.
It's when you get enough people together in one place, logistics just get hard.
It's true.
It just does.
It takes work.
I'm going up to Northern California, where I'm from, in several weeks now. My goodness, it's coming right up. Same idea. It's like no one is being weird about it, but it's sort of like, where are you staying? When are you coming? What time are you getting here? Are you coming to this dinner?
You might as well make a spreadsheet.
Are you not? Yeah. Well, there probably is one. And yeah, it's the same thing where like the way that I feel about these things is like I naturally want to retreat.
Oh yeah,
and just
sure.
be like, just tell me when to be there. I don't want to do this anymore. But
it's fun when
that's
you
just
contribute.
sort of the way that it goes.
Yeah, and if if you're part of the planning and you're helpful in some capacity, like it's rewarding. And I could be better at that. I think I just sort of like back out because there's all these other people that are planning, and I just want to like be easygoing about stuff.
I feel like I'm a fine planner, producer at heart.
Yeah.
Both of us, same. We come from the same
cut from the same cloth.
Cut from the same cloth. But there's somebody who's always more enthusiastic about it.
Exactly.
And so I'm like, you let me know if you need my help.
Go to town.
Yeah. Otherwise, just let me
a
know
nap.
when to be there, and I will be at brunch with my Bloody Mary. Thank you very much. Hey, speaking of social, Heather.
Yeah.
So this sort of idea of everything being social and a lot of that being, apps and how are apps more social, and we're all online way too much as it is.
Yeah.
So I thought this was kind of interesting, and it is apropos because you're just now getting off Spotify and going to Apple Music if all goes well with your AT&T to Verizon. But Spotify has decided to make a Spotify Connect feature that is a way for, if we were both Spotify users, way for me to be like, hey, I'm about to listen to this playlist right now, and then we both listen to it together.
Fun.
So we're not in the same room,
Yeah.
we're not together, but we're in sync.
Yeah, we're experiencing the same
We're
thing.
experiencing the same thing.
I like it.
And I love this in theory, but I'm also like, don't we keep trying to like make internet solutions to these problems, like watching a show at the same time rather than us both just playing, hit and play at the same time, listening to music or a movie. It all makes a lot of sense, but I'm not sure that there is, besides, again, like something that's like super appointment viewing, like live sports or the Oscars or, something like Game of Thrones where people don't wait. I mean, you and I have a lot of the same taste in music.
For sure.
But like, is there any scenario where I'm like, Heather, ready?
I think if we were...
For the next 90 minutes?
Well, it's actually funny because I think that perhaps, like, I have like time on the weekend, usually in the morning, I will play maybe a Cure album or something.
Yeah.
And I have a little dance party. Like I'll listen to a whole Cure album and just kind of dance around the house and clean and like whatever. Maybe, perhaps that could be a fun weekend activity.
Sure.
We both have like we're cleaning the house and we're listening to the same music.
I think it just like I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like imagine that you're together.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Sure.
Is like we're together, but we're not.
Yeah.
But like, how often are you like at 8:45 a.m. being like, hey, Sarah, ready? Like usually I'm like, can you give me 30?
Yeah, exactly. No, it is a little weird. So you'd want it to be synced up by probably within 5 seconds too.
I think, I was trying to think of scenarios where this would make a lot of sense to me. And like one would be working out.
Totally.
Like I'm going to be running for the next 60 minutes. I got a playlist. Want to come on this fun journey with me? Yeah. You can be anywhere. That would be cool.
I have a good scenario. Like say you're working in an office environment. So it's like an open air desk situation, but you're working on a project with somebody who's in the vicinity and like you're both, writing a script or you're
on
working
the same plane.
And so then you're just like, let's just sync up.
Yeah.
That might be a good.
Yeah.
I could see myself doing that.
Yeah, I love the idea of the collaborative playlist or movie or TV show or whatever. I have found it in practice to be few and far between anything that anyone kind of gloms onto.
Yeah.
But Spotify's trying it, so y'all let us know if you like your Spotify playlist with your friends.
We'll see if I stick to Spotify in the coming weeks.
Maybe you'll never switch to Verizon, Heather, and you'll be stuck.
No. It's funny. I'm what I'm going to talk about is sort of similar. Because sort of, have you ever heard of the word screenomics? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's basically like, they're studying more and more like the neuro, sort of effects of like social media on your brain. And it's funny because I was interested in this article I was reading on New York Times, and my friend Dar was quoted in it because he's a scientist. He's like a neuroscientist living in Berlin. He now lives in Michigan, but he just moved he was in Berlin for a long time.
Same. Yeah. Berlin, Michigan, whatever.
So yeah, it's so funny. Dar Meshi, I just want to call him out.
What up, Dar?
He's a super smart dude. He's a cognitive neuroscientist at the Freie University in Berlin. But again, he just moved to Michigan. I'm not sure where he's at right now. But he has been working with researchers, and he spends a lot of time explaining kind of like how the brain reacts to screen time. And they call it, there's this thing where it's like sort of a digital map of like learning really what your where you go every second on your phone. So say you're like throughout your day, like what does that map look like? Like what are the things that you're spending time on, and how quickly are you leaving something and then going to something else? Like how distracted are you? Do you go from like reading a blog post on Medium
and
to
some
like
OSs and apps are now trying to track that and like give you information about that as well.
Exactly.
Knowing that, you know, the underlying issue is maybe it's unhealthy. Mm-hmm. You know?
Exactly. And so they're like, it's fascinating. This is obviously a very profound and scientific thing that I don't want to get into too much of the science, but he had a whole, I mean, I read his, you know, it was like written by him and a bunch of other people. It's like a Stanford thing. But it's interesting. I think that this type of data will help us understand like our productivity patterns, like how you interact with people on social media. You probably learn a lot about yourself when you have that data in front of you.
Absolutely.
You know? And yeah, I mean, I think like, you know, say you're just like waiting for the bus. Like, what are you doing in that 30 minutes you're waiting for the bus? If that's how long, you know, like you're texting, you watch a YouTube video, you know, you're buying concert tickets, you're, you know, like all the things you accomplish during that time. It's quite remarkable.
Well, and I think, you know, what's interesting, like something that I notice about myself is like, how many times do I seek to accomplish something and I just bounce out because I like just like don't have the mental capacity to like finish that task.
Yep.
And it's as simple as like looking at my Instagram comments or something, like, you know, like where you're just like, oh my God, like,
and then you're spaced out. Sometimes you go to an app.
You're spaced out and you're kind of in this like crazy loop, and those are the times where I'm like, I need to put my phone down. Yeah. Like, I just can't do this right now. I think like whatever's online, I don't want.
Exactly. Like, I think half the time I space out, like in life or on the show, is because of this. Because I would get so distracted. Often I'll open an app and be like, wait a minute, why did I go here? Like, what? Yeah. Why? I had a point. I was going here to see something specific, and I don't remember what it was. Yeah. What do you think that your like little digital map would be for like a day? You know, like kind of in a nutshell.
It depends on the day. I think I've gotten pretty good at not giving into that like candy, like I just want to look at Instagram or Facebook or whatever. It's like I almost actively avoid a lot of that stuff now because I find it to be a time suck that more often than less does not give me joy.
Yeah.
And it depends on the day. So, you know, I'm generalizing, but no, we were talking about this on one of my other shows where we were all comparing like, how many hours did you spend on, you know, whatever, social media, you know, what did iOS tell you that you spent? And like my hours were way less than everybody else's.
Oh, that's surprising. Maybe because you're taking breaks.
Well, but I'm also on my computer and that's mobile traffic.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's the whole thing.
You're right.
I think it's important for all of us to just think a little bit more about what are you doing online?
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't have any judgment about what any of you guys are doing online, but I know that there are things that I do where I'm like, 45 minutes just went by and I did nothing.
I'm telling you, okay, here's an example of something that I've been doing lately that's a bad habit, that I need to have more discipline. I've noticed there's certain things where I'm not disciplined and I'll just let myself do it. But like I've been really wanting to read. I have a book on my Kindle, and I try to go to bed a little earlier so I can read it like for half an hour. I've done okay, but what I notice is that, you know, I'll plug my phone in, kind of put it in my drawer next to my nightstand. But I realize I like crave finishing my Words with Friends games because I have a lot. I have like 30 games. It's really out of hand. But that's what I want to do. So what I'll do is I'll take my Kindle out, I'll read a couple pages, and then I'll be like, wait a minute, I just want to play one game, and I'll get my phone back out. Yeah. And then I'll play a bunch of games, and then I'll go to sleep. And it's like, no, like stop doing that. And I think it also stimulates me too. Like I did it last night, and I kind of had a weird sleep. You know, so I have to be careful. But the screen gnome concept is interesting. They call it sort of the code behind your digital self, which I think is a little like almost creepy in a way, but like kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I'm going to follow this Dharmeshi and see what else he comes up with, because I think this is like one of his focuses on his studies. So I thought it was interesting.
Very interesting. You know what else is interesting? Our patrons.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
What do you think I was going to say?
Beans.
beans are coming up.
They're very
Spoiler
interesting
alert.
too.
Stay tuned, everybody. But first, we do want to quickly shout out all
Real
of our
quick.
patrons because we love you and you are the reason that our show exists.
And you are our friends.
You are. Absolutely. Each and every one of you. Even if you hate us. I don't
know.
If you're a patron.
Again, you can, like
Probably,
Sarah
you
mentioned.
probably wouldn't hate us and be a patron.
Sarah mentioned last week, you can just watch the video and not listen if you know you don't like hearing us talk. But I know somebody who does like to hear us talk because she sent us a note. One of our old friends / colleagues, Allison Park, just became a patron. And she's at the bonus topic level, the $5 bala.
Heather and Allison and I worked together way back in the day.
She's
I think,
the raddest.
I think Allison is still in New York City.
She is. She's funny. She has a really fun Instagram. She has like very weird observations. I think that's probably why she like relates to our show because us and our weird observations.
Here's hoping.
No, but she's super rad. She's been listening since the beginning, and I know that she's definitely part of our community since day one.
You the
So
best.
welcome.
You the best, Allison. We miss you. It's
We
been
do.
so long.
Wish we lived in the same city.
I know.
We
I
would totally hang.
Hope to see you soon. But for anybody else who's, maybe catching our show for the first time or, kind of wondering how the Patreon thing works, patreon.com/have such a good day will give you a lot more information about what we're trying to achieve on the show, our community that we're trying to build, and some of the perks that we're going for.
Ad free. Also, we're on pretty much all the podcast apps. If there's one that
All of them.
you can't find us on, obviously iTunes, Pocket Casts, Overcast, like all the casts, and
All the
pods
casts.
and
Wherever
all
you
that.
get your podcasts, we are there.
But if we aren't on something that you wish that we were, please let us know. Write us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com.
Absolument. Okay, so you want to talk about beans now?
I can't wait.
Okay, good.
Bring it.
Okay, so all right, so beans. Let's preface this.
The magical fruit.
First of all, I like beans. I'm a bean lover.
Who doesn't like beans?
Well, some people are not
Yeah.
crazy about beans,
Right.
but they got fiber. They got heart. There's so many different kinds.
There are.
You can have a bean salad with lots of different kinds of beans. Like beans are a wonderful magical fruit.
They are.
So, I stumbled upon a bean blog post on Medium, and now anybody who's not familiar with Medium, it used to be back in the day. And still, a few people are still holding on to that sort of like at saralane.com. I'm going to write about beans.
I love it.
There is a lot less of that personal blogging happening now.
Yeah.
Most of it happens on Medium.
I read a lot of Medium stuff, but I don't read about beans on there. I didn't even know they had stuff about beans. I read about
one person wrote about beans, but yeah, that's the thing about Medium is like, it's weird how these trends shift so quickly.
Oh yeah.
Where I sort of would be like, well, if I thought enough people would like read my personal blog, like I could blog about, whatever, and be all, self-sufficient there. But it's kind of now turned into the thing where it's like, do you have something really serious to say? Write a Medium post about it.
Yeah.
And there's like politics, gender equality
Self-help.
issues. All of it. Yeah, lots of
self-help.
And like stuff, like really good stuff. And, it's curated. And if you're a part of the community, great. Well, I stumbled across a blog post titled, and I quote, "Here's your roadmap to cooking beans."
I love it.
And
Guide me.
with the subtext. First tip: don't buy canned beans. All right, so this guy, Rick Easton. I'm not familiar with you, Rick, but shout out to you because I love you because you love beans probably as much as I do. And he has a very in-depth blog post about here's what you if you buy beans in bulk, you think you're getting it at a discount, which you are. But you don't know how often those beans are being turned over in the supermarket,
No.
and often not very often at all.
You got to check the expiration date.
Well, but
That's for sure.
But so it's like, I mean,
I know.
who's stocking those beans, right? Because the whole thing is that if you let's say you want to make hummus, so you get garbanzo beans. If you get garbanzo beans in a can and you make hummus out of that, all right, you're not trying that hard. Everybody knows that. Fine, whatever. And that was the point that Rick was making. Like, you don't do it that way. But then you have to soak them overnight.
Cooking beans is not like a super easy thing.
And then there's a whole,
that's why people don't do it.
Exactly. And there's, like then you have to like make sure that they're, they're the right consistency. And like, I have actually, I pride myself on my hummus, but I've never really gotten the consistency as smooth as any of the grocery store hummus. And I have a perfectly good processor.
So you don't use canned beans?
No, God, no.
Yeah, I think that it's probably a tahini thing, or like like you probably need more. I don't know, because
I don't
most
either.
of the times I've made hummus, it hasn't been as creamy as in the store either.
So to break down Rick's eloquent bean story, and really I love this so much. Nothing could give me more joy. He's like, never buy canned beans. They will taste like cans. You're the worst. If you buy beans in bulk, you don't really know how old those beans are. They might have been sitting there for a while.
It's kind of gross when you think about it.
It's kind of gross. Yeah.
They're sitting in their juices.
And like there might be a child's hand that had been in there at some point.
You never know.
You really don't know. But for the most part, he really laid out a bunch of good ways to approach beans in order to have the best bean scenario for yourself. And also throws in a couple of pretty good recipes in there, and it inspired me to make some hummus over the weekend, because I haven't made my homemade hummus in, let's talk, 5 years.
Well, it's funny that we're talking about hummus, because I actually bought a tub of $5 hummus today, and it was super homemade from our little bodega down on Echo Park Avenue. Called Cookbook. Super cute. They make everything from scratch, but $5, and it was not a huge tin.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I should be making this myself.
My
This
first
is
question
ridiculous.
is like, how big is the tin? Because
like
I go through, like, I'll eat a tub of hummus in a night
easily, just like like the typical size. But it wasn't super creamy. It's actually really good. It's a saffron hummus, which I like, but it is really good. It's kind of it feels very homemade. It doesn't feel like a store-bought hummus. But anyway, I would like to try that too. So I'm going to come over. What, on Sunday you're going to make this?
Yeah, come on over.
I'll pop on by.
I'll have some hummus. We'll put a little paprika in there.
I love it.
Make it fun.
You know what's really good too is put some parsley, like fresh parsley.
Yeah.
Mix that in there.
Jalapeno as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Garlic.
Like I'm saying, the bean thing is, I mean, now we're just talking about hummus, but so many types of, it's do you like lima beans? Do you like black beans?
I love lima beans.
Do you like
Fava
pinto beans? Do you like fava beans? Do you
Fava
like
beans are my
garbanzo
favorite.
beans? Like so many
And people don't have
beans.
allergies to beans.
Well, some people,
You think?
some people avoid beans.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's an allergy thing, but it's definitely a starch thing.
Yeah, you know what I really like is all the different names for the beans. Like, for example, garbanzo beans are sometimes called CC beans.
They are?
Yeah, like CICI beans. Yeah, there's like some
Who calls
different-
them that?
I don't know. But I
What?
I don't know.
Who said that?
Look it up, Google it,
Okay,
or it's
fine.
in Wikipedia or something.
All right.
But anyway, I love talking about beans. So we'll keep talking. We'll keep updating you on the bean world.
Two bean
It's
fans
magical.
here coming to you straight from Have Such a Good Day.
And now moving on to a much more serious topic.
Yeah, okay.
How do you feel about bed, Sarah?
How do I feel about
Bed?
bed? Like
Like,
sleeping?
do you like bed? Do you just like bed? I love bed, so I want to know how you feel about it.
I once, somebody, this is like, I don't know, however many years ago, somebody was like, what's your favorite thing in the whole world, Sarah? And I was like, sleeping. And she was like, that sounds like you're depressed. And I'm like, no,
No way.
I love sleeping. It's my
Yeah.
favorite thing in the entire world besides eating beans.
That's why we're friends, because honestly, I've often said, I love bed. Like, it's just a quote that I say often. I'm just like, I just love bed.
And like, you're comfortable. The temperature's right.
Oh my God. Sometimes when you wake up and you like, you're aware that but you're still kind of in a sleep mode, and then you can snuggle in and like really enjoy it. The best, like on a Saturday morning. Well, I might have a job for you if you like bed that much.
Okay, let's hear it.
For a freelancer like us. So, but here's the thing. So there is a study that's being held at NASA. It's the Space Agency and the German Aerospace Center. It's a study that's called the Artificial Gravity Bed Rest Study. They're basically trying to understand better weightlessness in space and how like the body adapts to it. So what they're doing is they're offering people, so there's a bit of a catch. It sounds so great. Okay, I'm just going to sleep for days and they're going to study me and whatever. But you would have to be in bed for 24 hours, 7 days a week at 60 straight days.
What?
Yeah. So basically no bathroom.
That's impossible.
No bathing, no meals. Well, I think they set it up so that you're laying there and they probably put a catheter on you or like something. So
goodness.
They didn't get into the details on that. But the interesting thing is, so that you get paid $13 an hour.
Oh, come
which I thought
on.
was kind of weak.
Get out of town.
But you are lying in bed. So this is based in Cologne, Germany. So if you want to move there, here are the criteria.
Cologne's pretty nice.
It is pretty nice. So they want females who speak German, 24 to 55. So we sort of fit the bill partially.
Yes. I don't speak a lot of German, but
I only know
I can sleep all day.
Ich liebe dich. That's pretty much all I know, and some numbers. But apparently they're like, basically for people who are worried that they won't get their exercise during this study, that they're like, don't fear. They could set you up with a bike and you cycle in bed. I don't know how that works. And like, there's a jumping exercise that they get people to do.
So the idea is not to sleep.
No, you just have to be in bed.
In bed.
Yeah, you have to be in bed.
But possibly on a bicycle.
Eating crackers.
I'm into it.
But also, okay, one more thing. This is a weird thing. I'm trying to like wrap my head around this. Apparently your head is tilted 6 degrees below horizontal.
Oh,
so you're,
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, apparently it like emulates like, space flight. And so think about that. So you're like, your body's like this, and then your head has to tilt down. It sounds like the blood rushes to your head. I don't know if I'm into that.
No.
That kind of might have ruined it for me. But I don't know, man. I mean, I've always been sort of fascinated by, what if I did do like a wacky study and you make good money? Like you
first of all, this isn't good money.
No, it's not.
It's really bad money.
$13 an hour times that by 60 straight days. It's not like you're
driving
making
for
nothing,
Uber would give you more money than this.
Agreed.
Unless you really want to be sedentary, and if so, I applaud you.
I thought it was kind of interesting.
I thought, I was hoping it would be more of like Sarah's most fluffy, beautiful fantasy bed.
Well, you probably could get that.
Get in it and get out of it when you want to. We'll just pay you. Sounds like I got a bicycle.
That would be
my
incredible.
head's going to be under my heart.
I've always wanted to get like one of those like dream, like, they analyze your dreams. So does that even happen? You go to like a sleep, laboratory and they put things on your head and they study your dreams. I've done this. What?
Well, because I've had my brain issues in the past. Yeah. So long story short, it's a story for another time. But for a variety of reasons, I had some epilepsy issues back in the day. And when I was trying to get off of some medication that I had been taking for a while that I didn't want to take anymore if I didn't have to, because it's kind of heavy, they were like, yeah, we're going to do like a sleep study with you just so we can kind of see the EKG shit. And, it's just like, it's like a bunch of goop on your head and there's all these, just weird things. And you're like laying there and they're like, okay, go to sleep. And you're like, but I'm like nervous. I like can't sleep. Oh my God. And yeah, I did that a couple of times.
Wow. What did they find out?
It's weird because the first time I couldn't sleep because I was just nervous, and they were like, you didn't actually go under. And I'm like, I know, I just like laid there. Like,
wow.
I tried. Like, you can't, like, I can't sleep on a dime.
No,
you know?
and there's people in the other room. Is that like see-through, that
Oh, totally.
glass
Yeah.
where people
like
are analyzing
you?
you?
Yeah, you feel like you're about to go to prison and they're like watching you and like, you know, like, you know, and you've got all this crap on your head and you're not comfortable and it's like not your bed. But the second time I did actually go to sleep because I was so tired. Because basically what they do is like you get there at 6 a.m. and you have had to stay up the whole night before. So you go in really fatigued.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So that you go down.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just won't work. Unless you're one of those weird people who can sleep on command, and I don't even know who you monsters are. But yeah, the second time I did, and when I woke up, I was like, "Am I okay?" And they were like, "Yeah, you're cool. Like good results."
Nice. Good on you. Hey, if any of you guys have any bean or bed anecdotes, please email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com.
And in a perfect world, both will go together. What kind of beans do you eat in bed, and why?
And let's see. How do you do the other way around? Do you dream of beans?
Do you dream of beans? And if so, which beans?
CC beans or Garbanzo beans?
CC beans. Heather made that up.
Yeah, sure. I just pulled that out of my wild hat of tricks.
No one has ever called them CC beans before.
Anyway, so I wanted to do a quick shout out to one of our favorite patrons, Trisha Iboshi.
That's right.
I think I pronounced that correctly.
You did.
I hope I did.
Very good work.
She sent us some cryptic notes today that I just would like to shout out. She was referring to our last show when I was wandering around the Rite Aid, aimlessly as I do, and she said, "Rite Aid!" with like 8 exclamation points, and then said, "Oh, I have mystery." And I thought it was like maybe the start to a short poem.
Is the mystery the Rite Aid experience?
I love it.
Recently?
Please, please elaborate, Trish.
Please,
because
tell us more.
I want to know more.
Tell us more about your Rite Aid mystery. Trish, great friend of the show. Heather and I, good friend of both of ours, and I love the fact that, I mean, I'm a big Rite Aid fan.
Oh yeah.
I'm also a CVS fan, and I'm also a Walgreens fan, but Rite Aid is the best of all.
See, I like CVS, I think.
I know, and you mentioned that last week. You're like, there's a fancy CVS down by the Whole Foods. I'm like, I don't ever go there. But I go to the Rite Aid. The Rite Aid it has, like, if I had to buy shoes, there would be some, like, weird shoes at Rite Aid.
And, like,
just anything.
Yeah, no,
like,
you're right.
Like, it actually has, if I want to eat a meal, maybe they don't have the best beans there. Hard to say. I haven't even looked in a while. But they would have some beans.
They would be
at
canned.
Rite Aid. They would be canned. They
Not
definitely
homemade.
don't have bulk beans at
Could
Rite
you imagine?
Aid. Not the one on
That'd
Glendale.
be incredible.
But yeah. So
A good drugstore.
Trish, glad that you share our love for Rite Aid.
It's funny because I used to be a Walgreens girl when I lived in NorCal, and there was like so many nice Walgreens up there. And then I came to LA, and it was like I was kind of bummed. I was like, "There's no Walgreens here." Like
there's a Walgreens right down the street.
I know, but when I lived on the west side, it was there
yeah.
were mostly CVS's and Rite Aids, and I was like, man, I miss my Walgreens. And now I'm like a convert. I'm like, CVS, man, all the way. Anyway.
CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens. There's probably some other large drugstore chain that we're not thinking of.
I do have a bone to pick with CVS, though.
Okay.
They're the ones that do those mile-long coupons every time you buy something. And sure, it's great to have coupons, but I feel like most of the time you never make it back to use them because you have to kind of come back pretty quickly to get to actually use the coupons. But they print out these receipts, and people have put it on Instagram. It's like a whole thing. I'm not even joking.
It's just too much.
It's insane. It's so much paper, and I don't like that. I like a good coupon, but anyway.
There was a, speaking of weird things, there was, and I think I've actually mentioned it on the show before just because why not? But at the local Vons, which is a grocery store, not a drugstore, but a grocery store, it's got everything there. Big place.
Except for plungers.
They don't have plungers. Well, that was actually a Walgreens, but that's a story for another time. At the Vons, they do this thing every once in a while where, I never have cash because I hate cash. And so, you insert your ATM chip card, and often they never like the cashier doesn't really care. They don't want to talk to you about it, but it'll be like, would you like to help the U.S. military?
Yep.
Would you like to donate to
the Red Cross?
Yeah, Red Cross, or a variety of places where you're like, oh, okay, like, but you might not do it every time.
No.
Just depends.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on what your situation is, right? And I've found that in fact the current campaign at the Vons is donate to the military, and what I think, as a person behind the counter, you're sort of trained to be like, thank you for your donation, and you say that.
Sure.
And so when you're like third in line, you're like, oh crap, now, because I want to be I want to do the right thing.
Sure, of course.
I want to be like a nice person and be part of donations, but I donate to a lot of things already, and I can't do it every day.
No,
can't do
you
it.
can't. And then you kind of feel bad, and there's the people waiting outside, like wanting to have you donate there.
All of it.
It's
a
lot.
You do have to pick your battles, and luckily we're in situations where we're lucky enough to be able to donate to lots of things.
Yeah.
But I have in the past kind of had like the cashier be like, well, thank you to the guy ahead of you who donated to our
like you just
campaign.
bought like a $4 kombucha and you can't donate $1 to the military,
right?
That's what she's thinking.
And the truth is, I can.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it just
because usually it's like $1,
didn't
$2, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really even know what my point is, besides the fact that I am shamed sometimes at Vons for not donating.
I think that there's enough fodder here for us to do a spin-off podcast about just box stores. That's all we talk about. Vons and CVS.
Man,
there's so much to discuss.
Just big chains. Heather,
like Big Lots.
Heather and I, if
That's
you
one
like
place I've
have
never
such a
been.
good day. Oh, Big Lots. I would never go in there.
I don't even know
Too
what's
much.
in there.
Too much. Nope. Can't do it. Home Depot, can't go. Too many items.
Too much wood.
Crippled by choice.
Yes.
Too much wood. That's exactly right. I just want
tools.
one picnic table. Don't give me 4 options. I want just the one.
Don't try like 54. What kind of store are you going to has 4 options?
I actually, in high school, some of my guy friends, it was never women, although they would obviously perfectly fine working there as well, worked at Home Depot. And there was no Home Depot in Sebastopol, California, where I grew up. You had to drive outside of town, where there were also Targets and, I don't know, just it was chain stuff that we didn't have in our little town. And I remember somebody, I think it was a guy that I liked or something, was working at Home Depot, and I went there once and I walked in and was like, nope, gotta go.
Yeah, it's
Can't
overwhelming.
deal, because I don't know how to make things. Woodworking, tools, all of those things give me palpitations.
You should
and
have
that
seen
was
me,
the last time I was in a Home Depot.
It's funny. You should have said, the only time I'll do it is if I buy something online and just go pick it up. But you should have seen me researching screen doors of all things.
I do remember this.
I went back and forth. That created a lot of anxiety. Anyway, now I'm just getting mosquito bites. It's all good. Get some weird exoskeletons hanging around.
It's good for your I don't know, probably. Maybe you'll get sick less.
Maybe so, because
all the mosquito bites.
Oh, great. Thanks. I feel better now. Maybe I should just get a malaria shot, just to be extra safe.
Yeah. I mean, knock on wood somewhere.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, I think that we're pretty close to getting to our bonus topic here, Sarah.
I think so. And that means that for everybody listening to our regular show or watching, love y'all. We're going to wrap this thing up in a pretty package and hope you've had as much fun as we've had. And for our $5 and up patrons, we will continue the show in just a few.
It's going to keep on rolling.
It will.
So stand by.
For everybody else, thank you for watching and listening. We'll do this again next week. Until then, I am Sarah.
I'm Heather.
And have such a good day. Bye.